Anderson. If you give them a round of applause, this is their idea. Pretty neat, seeing some civic engagement from students and their juniors, so we're lucky enough to get them for one more year. So tonight we're going to start off, each of the candidates is going to have 5 minutes to speak. I'll be showing the timer in case they're getting down close. Once they've all spoken, we'll turn it over to you guys, and Daisy Tirado, wave over there, Daisy, our ASB president, will be bringing a microphone around to you. And this microphone will stay right up here. We will end at 8:30. Each candidate will get another 30 seconds to just talk, remind you what their name is, and we will be out of here at 8:30. So start thinking of those questions. And thanks. I teach government and leadership, and this is really fun to be involved in the government. Is pretty spectacular. So thank you for being here. We plan to make this an annual event. So yeah, thank you for being here. All right, and we'll turn it over to Hans. You're first.
That's what I heard. Good evening. My name is Hans Gronke. I'm running as a write-in. Is this working? Can you hear me?
Yeah. You could
Running
get
as
it
a
a little
write-in
closer.
candidate for position 1.
Hans, you want to put it by your mouth? A little closer.
How's that?
I'm running for a write-in candidate for position 1. I was raised in Mattawa and spent K through 12 right here at Walling School District. I graduated in 2000. I currently have 2 kids in Mattawa Elementary, soon to have 3 kids in Walling School District. I'm concerned for them and their classmates' education. I'm concerned for all kids' education enrolled here at Walling School District. Here's some recent OSPI data. That's Office of Superintendent of Public Instruction. This is for Walling School District, district-wide. 22% of students meet math standards. That's roughly 562 kids out of 2,555. 27.6% of students meet ELA standards. That's 705 kids. Test scores are extremely low district-wide. I know test scores are way out of the scope of the school board. The school board has 3 major roles: to approve budget, employ and terminate superintendent, and adopt and change policy. I don't hold the keys to success, nor do I have a recommendation for a cure-all tonight, right here. Keys to success lie in leadership at the classroom level. Walling School District has some of the highest paid and best trained teachers in the state. I would like to see our district preparing kids for the trades or higher education on a daily basis. Historically, Walling School District has been operating as a large B-sized district. Soon, Walling School District will transition to a AA-sized school that's about the size of Othello or just behind the size of Ellensburg. Right now is the time to find common ground. Right now is the time to stop criticizing each other. Right now is the time to start building programs and setting educational goals that our kids deserve. Right now is the time to stop throwing different programs you don't agree with under the bus. Right now, more than ever, it's time to move forward for the students. If I'm elected to Walling School Board, you'll not see an empty chair sitting in position 1. You're voting for a strong leader. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Maybelline Pantaleone, and I am running for position number 1. So I know that I'm currently on the board, and I am running again once more to be in this position. The reason being is because I really feel like I have failed. I'm gonna just say it out. I have failed. I'm not gonna, go ahead and say that I've done a fabulous job. But it doesn't take just one person on that board to try to make a difference. It's a whole group. So even if I'm one voice, regardless if I disagree, I'm just one person. There needs to be a change. One of the things that I have always kind of caught on now is the curriculum. That is something that is constantly changing. According to research, it shows that the curriculum, you need to at least provide them for an extent of 540 days, approximately, in order to see a change. We've changed it so often and so many times that we're not allowing our teachers to go ahead and be able to hold on to that curriculum, make it great, and move forward. I'm no longer going to go ahead and stand by and just say, yeah, let's go ahead and take the next. No, I'm going to stand by what was brought to us. I believe that our student scores are super important, just from the fact that we want them to continue, grow, and end up being part of this of this area, or having them send off somewhere else. I have 2 children. I have 2 boys. I have a 5-year-old son who's in kindergarten. He absolutely loves school. And I agree with some of the things that Hans says, reference that we go ahead and we take a lot of different things to do, and we have so much, but not really steady and focusing on something to move forward and stick to that and try it out, and let's see how it goes. We're constantly, I feel like it's like, what's the next best shiny thing? And then let's go to do that. Oh, enough of that. I'm no longer, and I'm not sure if some of you have been to the board, I'm that person that says no, even if I'm the only one. The most important role is absolutely the kids. For me, I'm a mom. I'm a mother. These kids to me are so important as if they were my own children. I care about them, and I feel like the reason why I'd be qualified, I am very fluent in both English and Spanish. I feel like parents can have the opportunity to come to me with concerns, and I can go ahead and hear them out. I'm also a police officer as part of my career, and as a police officer, I've seen some of the consequences of our kids not being able to complete the school, not being able to graduate, ending up in jail, ending up taking the wrong road. I don't want to continue seeing that. I want us to push forward and have our kids excel and do the best that they can. When I was brought over, I was a non-documented kid, plain and simple. I was 1.5 years old. My parents brought me, and no papers, and however they brought me over so that I could have a change in my life. And I know that there's a lot of parents here, excuse me, but that's what I want to do for those kids. Have them have the opportunity to have a change. I'm Maybelline Pantaleon, vote for me.
My name is Jesse Perez, and I have lived in Mattawa for 40 of my 43 years. I have 3 kids that went K through 12 in this district. Currently have an 8th grade daughter. We made this our home. I moved away after high school and I chose to come back here. We chose to come back here and raise our kids here because I know it's a great place to live. I want to be here, and I believe what makes me qualified to be here is that I'm an unbiased leader. I believe in everybody playing by the same rules. Doesn't matter what it is that you are reaching for or what you're trying to get at. We all should be held to the same rules. We all should be held accountable for the same things. I'm able to prioritize needs from wants. There's lots of things that we want to see, but more importantly, there's things that we need to have in order for our district to be successful. I've lived here for a long time, and I want nothing more than to see our kids succeed. makeup of community and understand the needs. If I get voted in, right now I am currently I was appointed by ESD, but I'm up for re-election right now. So if you vote me in, I hope to make our school district an appealing destination for well-qualified educators. And that goes back to everybody playing by the same rules. If you come here and you apply for a job, you have qualifications you've got to meet. I hope that, this is a place for where our current student-focused educators will want to be. Okay? We want them to have the kids' needs in mind. That'll be first and foremost. We want those people to be here. We want them to be here and want to retire from here. And I think three of our most important issues right now are, one, we don't have a vision of where we want to take our district. And without a clear roadmap, we're just on a windy road to nowhere. One of the issues that was mentioned before was the curriculum that keeps changing. We've recently started working on having a district improvement plan, having a vision. Where do we want to go? How do we get there? And then staying within these guidelines. Budget accountability. So the taxpayer funds are spent in the most efficient manner, maximizing student benefit. Our district is a business, an education business, and needs to be run like one. We have trips and large purchases approved beforehand and not after the money has been spent. And people in the community might be thinking that we overspent or possibly misspent. We need to be transparent on what we're doing. And to me, this is the most important thing. Our reading, writing, and math scores are so low that our kids are in danger of not being able to find adequate opportunities in today's workforce. We have many after-school programs for sports and intellectual growth, but we need to focus in that time slot between 8 a.m. and 3 p.m. I love my sports. Youth coaching is one of the most rewarding things I've done being here. But more than likely, most of our kids here are not going to be able to make a living wage playing sports. They'll get to high school, and we hope that they all go to college in the NFL or NBA or whatever. But the likelihood of that happening is not great. So we need to prepare them to go out into the workforce and succeed. So I live in a district where our population is diversified, with the majority being Hispanic, and I want to see our school board reflect that diversity. With that being said, though, I don't believe the color of my skin should give me your vote. Your vote should come because I've been involved in the young lives of our kids. I understand the situations they face at home and school because I have lived them. Our students' opportunities for educational advances are my priority because that is the only way to open doors to financial stability, a fulfilling career, and a life of prosperity. Balloons and face paintings, participation trophies, will put smiles on your kids' faces, but that's not going to get them into a higher education. That's not going to prepare them for the workforce. Math, reading, and writing will. Folks, I just ask you that you do not vote for the most popular candidate. Vote for the best candidate, the candidate that you feel will make a difference to our school district. At the end of the day, we're all going to have to work together. Doesn't matter who gets elected. We're all going to have to work together for your kids and mine. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Trevor Waters, and I'm very excited to be here tonight to have the opportunity to present myself to the Mattawa community. I hope you guys are having a good night so far. How many of you have spent the majority of your life here in Mattawa? Can I see a show of hands? Everybody, there we go. I like it. That's good. That's good. Well, we have something in common, and I'm the same. I myself was also raised here since a child. I've spent 30 years here. I'm 30 years old, and I've spent every single year here. And I'm also proudly raising a family here and I'm thankful in doing so. Most of my memories have been spent here in the community, getting to know everyone involved, and that itself has been a blessing. My most favorable memories were spent with the Wallach School District. Whether it was learning, meeting teachers and friends, or after-school programs such as clubs or sports. Everyone who attended the Wallach School District, including myself, have always had the opportunity to strive, gain tools and knowledge to guide us to our destiny. Having graduated in 2008, I'm still in the Mattawa area and have seen a lot of great accomplishments. Accomplishments students have achieved with the school district being its supporter. Not only have the students shown great progress, but the school district itself has made a lot of big positive changes that have only straightened the road to success for everyone. Whether it has been providing new experiences for those students that may not have those opportunities outside the school, or simply improving the environment in which students, teachers, operations staffs, and ground maintenance spend their time at the district on a daily. Progress has been made and it will continue to be made regardless of what obstacles are thrown my way. I'm a part of a great community, and therefore I believe I share a strong love for the community and for the people a part of the community. From what I've seen in my experiences with Wallach over the years, it is that we all strive within ourselves for the community. That being said, I'm running for school board position 2 because I strongly feel I can and will be the positive, determined voice for everybody in our community. The voice that can represent everybody's thoughts, questions, concerns, and address them in a manner that change will happen, that accommodates everyone and everyone in the community's beliefs. I'm a hardworking, involved in the community, and would be a great asset for the people of Mattawa that want their voice to be heard. Thank you again for your time. Remember, my name is Trevor Waters, for a write-in candidate for position number 2, and have a good night.
First, I would like to thank Mr. Dugan and students for the invitation today to be here. My name is Antonio Acosta, or Tony as some of you might know me. I have lived in the community for over 30 years. I attended Wallach from K-12, graduated in the year of 2003. I currently serve on the Mattawa City Council and previously Civil Service Commission for the city. My family moved here into Mattawa in 1984, where they worked in the orchards. I, like most kids, also worked in the fields during the summer break. Let me tell you, I hated it. I have a son who is currently in 3rd grade in Mattawa Elementary. And if you have not met him, I would say you are missing out. He is the reason why I am a strong advocate for children with special needs. I strongly believe that as a board member, we need to be transparent and accountable to our parents, our staff, our students, and the community as a whole. Because because they have placed the trust in us that I take very seriously. I believe everyone has a right to be heard. In decision making, I believe it is critical that one have all the facts and information needed before coming to a conclusion. Our focus needs to be on every child and allow equal opportunities for them all. We need to equip our staff with the right tools and training they need to successfully teach. We need to provide a positive learning and working environment for all. Wallach can be a flagship school where administrators and staff from other districts come to learn. We are warriors, we are Wallach. And finally, I ask for your support. This is the time for change. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Seth Weeks. I'm running for position 3. I'm currently on the school board. I've been on the board for 8 years. I've been a volunteer in this community since 16 years old. My dad was a big proponent of fundraising and supporting Mattawa area youth. He was on the Walluk Enrichment, which I am currently a board member of. We've been raising funds through various methods, football dinners, you've probably seen us out there. Sports events, we fund all Mattawa Youth Sports, which offers opportunities to all kids, not just a select few. Other than that, I'd like to focus on some of the positive things that we're doing at the district right now. I know that a lot of people tend to focus on the negative. We have had some budget issues. I think most of those issues are due to the past 10 years, the way the district has been ran. And I was on the board when we decided to go a different direction with the superintendent. And I feel that Mr. Eckert has done a lot of good things as far as trying to revamp and reboot some of those problems and programs and getting our financials in order. I really feel like there are several problems plaguing the district: poverty, ELL, teacher retention, infrastructure, and the infrastructure part is what I would like to focus on, because we can't properly educate kids without space. Right now our junior high is operating at 680 kids and in a building that was built for 400. That is a serious issue. Our classes are getting larger. The high school is also about that same capacity, and that is a major issue. With the negativity in the community right now towards the school district, we will have problems passing maintenance and operation levies. We will have problems passing bonds. And so that's one thing that I'm committed to doing, is I work with the community leaders, and try and be a liaison between those people, those stakeholders, the taxpayers. For years I've been watching this district waste money, waste resources, and it saddens me to know that we have all the resources in the world available. We have more resources in this small community than the larger cities and communities, and we need to utilize those resources. Staff retention, I think I agree with Hans. We have some of the highest paid and the best trained teachers. We have some awesome administrators and principals and teaching the learning directors. Since I've been on the board, we have promoted Missy Stevenson to teaching and learning director. I know people have touched on curriculum. We have adopted some of the highest level curriculum that we can get, and that's no other than Missy and Julie's hard work, along with the teachers. And hopefully that helps to support the teachers and make their job easier. I just feel like we need to, as a community, focus on the positive things and let that be what drives our district forward. I want to thank you guys all for coming out, and please vote for me for position 3. Thank you.
Hello, good evening. Thanks for coming out, everybody. It's wonderful to see so many faces, familiar faces, new faces. I'm Samantha Ruiz Thomas. I'm running for the school district position 4 at large, I think was at large. I didn't prepare a speech because I wanted to come up and talk to you from the heart, because that's why I'm here. I came back to the Walluk School District because I have a heart for the students of this district and for the families of this district, because I am a student of this district. I didn't graduate here, but you know, my grandfather moved from a little village in Central America in the 70s with my father, with his wife and children. And my father had to start high school in the 70s with no ELL program at all. My father and my grandfather worked so hard so that we could have a better life. I understand when Maybelline was talking about bringing your family here so that they could have a better life. And I'd like to think that I am a direct result of that, and I'd like to think that the students of this district could be successful and that they can do whatever they want to do, whatever it is the vision that their family has for them. I believe in the students of this district, and I believe in supporting the families of this district and the community at large. That being said, you know, yeah, we have really low numbers, and there's a lot that we could be doing if we just took the time to listen to what our students need. I think a lot of times we say this is best for the students, but we don't take the time to say what is it that the parents need, what can we do to support them at home so that it positively affects what they're doing in the classroom. I believe in homegrown leaders. I believe there are so many students that go out, they graduate, they go out, and they come back, and they're not successful. They come back and they did a year of community college and decided it wasn't for them, and then they go back into the fields. That breaks my heart. I hate seeing that. I hate talking to my former students and realizing that, well, shoot, you know, what could we have done better so that they were ready to go out into the community, to go out into, you know, the world and make a difference and to live that dream that their parents had for them. So I just really believe in homegrown leaders, because a lot of the staff members that stay and that are successful live in this community, are a part of this community, invest in this community. And so I would love to see so many of our teachers be promoted to principals, be promoted to superintendent. I'd love to see them go up through the ranks, because homegrown leaders are the ones that understand, the ones that are in the community, the ones that build up our students. And that's what I believe. Like, let's build our students up. Let's make sure that they're college and career ready. That starts from kindergarten on up. It was so discouraging when I worked as an advocate for the migrant students, and then when I worked as a special education student in this district. It was so discouraging when I would ask my students, what is it that you want to do when you graduate? I want to be a doctor. I want to be a nurse. Do you like science? No, I hate it. Do you like math? No. Well, then why do you want to be a doctor? Because that was ingrained in them. That was told from them from when they were super young, that that's what you should do. That's what success looks like. There are so many ways to be successful. I would love to see our students leave, join a college-ready program, do a college-ready program, or even do a technical program, come back to the community, invest in the community. So many students say, I want to start a small business. I would love to start a gym down here at the bottom of the hill, a CrossFit gym. That would be amazing. Come, build our community, invest in our community, but we have to give them the tools. We have to give them the tools so that when they do go out and come back, they're ready. So they're ready. I just firmly believe that there's so much more we could be doing so that our students, when they graduate, that they're ready for the world. And I'm not saying let's push college on them, because there are, like, half my students would tell me, I don't want to go to college. Then don't go to college. You can do a technical school, you can do on-the-job training. Let's find the right position for you so that you can stay here, be in the community that you love. They all grew up here. They're here for a reason, right? Our students will stay. They'll build this community, but we have to give them the tools. And so, if elected to the school board, that's exactly what I'd like to do, is to try and help equip our students so that they can help build our community. I'm Samantha Ruiz Thomas. Please vote for me.
Okay, now we're going to open it up to the community. We have a half hour left. Daisy Tirado is going to come over with the microphone. And just be aware that you're going to have 3 minutes to ask a question, and then we'll turn it over to the candidates to answer that. If you all want to answer it, great. If you don't want to answer it, you don't have to. But yeah, just be aware that I'll wave you down at 1 minute, and there you go. So wave down Daisy if you have a question.
Hi guys, my name is Chris Ornelas. I'm a parent here. I have a junior high 8th grader, Caitlin Jameson, phenomenal volleyball player. Personal bias, right? And a 5th grader who also enjoys sports. Directly at you, Seth, because you are involved with the WEO, and as a parent, I'm kind of lost with the sports in the area. I feel like there's not enough openness in what exactly is available to our students. Regardless of sports, community clubs, anything else. I remember school being a hallway of flyers and advertisements and word of mouth to get these programs started, to expand these programs. And I feel like in the community, you have to jump through a lot of people to reach out and to be able to reach out. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that not a lot of people know the responsibilities of the school board, let alone the administrations in the schools, and just paperwork in general. I believe there's a lot of parents that want to be involved, including myself. Health-wise, it's not always possible, but it is a want. And this goes for anybody else that wants to make a contribution to how they feel about this. How do you get more parent involvement into going to school board meetings, into the public eye, into being able to be part of our community and knowing the resources that are available for our children and what should be and what could be volunteer work?
I guess I'll answer first on that since I was brought up in the statement. Your question kind of jumped around. It was a little hard to follow, but as far as youth sports go, I have bent over backwards for this community, for the kids of this community, to provide opportunities. I don't think there's anybody in this room that could touch the effort, the time, the money out of my pocket that I've spent providing opportunities for kids in this community. I have begged parents to get involved. I don't know how more clear it could be to try and get parents involved, whether it's rides to and from games. My pickup, my wife's Suburban, and any other parent I can beg to give rides are full on the way to games, to and from. I spend hundreds of hours scheduling, ordering equipment, ordering uniforms, looking for leagues that we can join because there's no Mattawa rec leagues. To answer your question, I guess there's more to this community than just the school. There's a lot more. Our city doesn't do squat for kids, period. There's no rec leagues. There's nobody putting any effort in to try to provide opportunities to keep the kids off the streets. They want to put it on the school's back. And it's a big load for the schools to carry. We provide as many or more opportunities for Mattawa area kids than are provided in the Tri-Cities. And I don't need to toot my own horn. You guys have seen me around, see me working my butt off. But I need help. We need help. We all need help to provide these opportunities and to provide the programs. So if you're looking to be involved, give the school a call. Ask how you can get involved. Give me a call. Give one of these guys that works with me with the youth sports a call. There's always things you can do.
Currently we're dealing with youth football. We've got 7 and 8s playing in Pasco. We've got the 9, 10s, 11, 12s. A few years ago there wasn't a 7 and 8 football league, and I wanted my kid. Didn't even have a kid at that age, but I said, man, this is going to be a good deal when he turns 7 to be playing contact football. We have tried hard to get flyers in every single school and sent out with kids. We started with robocalls, and then someone said we can't do robocalls. Now we started with flyers, paper flyers, sitting at the office of every school. Hopefully they would go back with kids. We get a handful of kids out. We're always looking for ways to promote that, to promote the next thing that's coming up. After football, we've got wrestling, there's AAU basketball going on. baseball in the summer. We had a summer baseball league. That was a big deal. We didn't have time to send out flyers, but everybody seemed to get the memo, you know? I think it's word of mouth, it's talking, it's asking questions. You know, your neighbor may know what's going on. And I'm sure as part of Walwick enrichment, we can do more, but gosh dang it, we bend over backwards to provide as much as we can to this district. We just put in $10,000 two years ago on the baseball field to get those baseball fields in shape to have 7 and 8 graders tear them, or 7 and 8 year olds tear them up. That came out of Walwick and Richard's pocket. So there's 3 guys working on that. We could use 15, 30 more.
I feel like the question kind of got a little derailed as far as focusing on asking you guys to start volunteering, which is wonderful too, and that is absolutely needed. But I think the question that should be asked too is, what have we done to earn the trust of the parents? Know your community. Are they just going to send their kids out to help you and work with you if they don't trust and know you, right? It's about knowing the culture of this community. 97% of this district is Hispanic, right? So there are certain things that come with being Hispanic, right? You've got to earn that mom's trust. You've got to earn that dad's trust before they send them in your suburban. Sorry, Seth, but you mentioned your suburban. But you know, like, you got to earn their trust. And what have you done? And that's what we need in our school district, right? Is someone that understands this community and understands that, wait a minute, we need to slow down. Let's ask them. Let's ask the parents, what can we do? Not, this is what we need. Show up here at this time, and then being mad when the field gets torn up. I mean, no offense to you guys, but your answers were super aggressive, and it was very off-putting. And if that's the way you talk to the parents, I can see why no one shows up. And I'm not trying to be offensive at all. I'm just trying to redirect here that we need to be asking, what is it that the parents need? What is it that the parents want that we can earn their trust? Because if they want to come out and be leaders and help and grow their students as leaders, what can we do to help that?
I just want to say one quick thing, to just make sure that when we are answering the questions that we're just trying as much as we can to address the audience and not each other. This is a forum and not a debate, but I appreciate everybody's comment, but please try to address them to the audience.
I'd like to answer a bit of that. And I don't know how many of you guys know right now, but there is an after-school program being put in by the school that has sports and other activities. They're looking for coaches and just mentors to come out and help after school with all after school programs. And, you know, as a school board, you know, there are programs, there's lots of us in this room who have donated hours and money and everything for many years, okay? We don't talk about that. But we as a school board, we need to look for more opportunities to do that. I know one of the thinking here is that, you know, don't send kids home to an empty house after school. You know, give them something to do with the school, and the school's doing a great job. They're also providing lunches after school for them. So, you know, the kids, there are opportunities, but we do need to find more. And we need to find more ways to interact with you guys, you know, with the community as a whole. Because Walwick School District is not just the school, it's the city, it's desert air. You know, we have a lot of kids coming from Beverly and Shawana. You know, they're not allowed to vote here in our district, but they are part of our district because they send their kids here. So we need to find a way to earn your guys' trust so that you guys do send them to these programs. I know that, you know, I heard, you know, Andy is going out looking for money for robotics and the Warrior Shake, things that will keep your kids, you know, interested in something else. You know, kind of, it's still educational. You know, it may not be geared towards college, but it's, you know, trade schools, whatever. You know, there's other programs, like I said, other than just sports. But we as a school board need to help, you know, our superintendent come up with ideas and give him what he needs to have these programs so that we can keep your, you know, all kids interested. I was approached a few years ago after coaching a boys AAU basketball team, and a mom said, how come you don't have anything for our daughters? Why do you guys discriminate against them? Well, it's not that we discriminate against them, it's just that, for one, I have one requirement to coach the girls, and that is for an 18 and over year old female to be present at every practice. Game's not so important. My wife and my daughters come to every game, but at every practice. So, we do things, but we've got to do more. And we've got to do more to earn your trust so you do send your kids. And so then that you want to come and volunteer as parents.
So my name is Bob Robinson. I work for Eckenberg's. So you guys all in one fashion or another mentioned budgets, personnel, and planning in your introductions. Trying to give some background for all of you guys, what's your experience in those? Also, Maybelline mentioned that she speaks Spanish. How many of you on the board, or who are running for the board, are fluent in Spanish?
Does Orchard Spanish count?
Can you understand it?
I get by.
So whoever wants to start with that one, for everybody.
I'll start, I guess, talking about the budgets. I've been on the board for 8 years. I've studied the expenditures, again, being around the district all the time, day in and day out, walking the campus. I know where money's going, and then I know where it needs to go, and I made the comment on waste. I have brought up in many meetings that we need to cut the waste. One example I always bring up is the chairs. We've bought thousands of chairs at this district, and yet you go inside storage rooms and there's stacks and stacks of chairs. So just that type of waste is the thing that bugs me the most. I run a business. I have an orchard, apples and cherries. I can't spend money before I have a game plan. I have to plan out my year, know what my expenses are going to be, think about what my projected income is going to be, and plan accordingly. I try to reuse materials whenever I can. I try to keep my labor expenses to a minimum. And so those are all things that I do on my personal farm that help me to give input when my input is due in board meetings. Spanish, I speak Spanish. I know a lot of the folks here in town. Lots of the field workers have worked for me and know me and know my commitment to my kids and the way I treat my people. I take my crew to Silverwood every year as just a little treat with their families. I don't think many of the farmers around here do that. And so I guess it's the best way I can answer.
I too am employed through a family farm, and I've been, with the help of my very talented wife, successfully running that for the last 8-10 years, something like that. My dad's semi-retired. I can't spend more money than we're making. Cherries we pick in June. I didn't get paid for all the cherries. I think there's still some outstanding cherry money. So that's apples, sometimes it's a year. So we're working off of last year's income every year. The main thing is not spending more than we're making. Very, very cautious. Went through Ag Leadership Program, which is a pretty accredited leadership program. I think that was four years ago. But yeah, just the focus on, we can't spend more money than we have. We got to make sure it's in the bank, know what's coming up, be able to write the check. Thank you.
So, to answer your question, I am fluent in Spanish, and I don't have a big background in budgeting. I have a general being on city council, we just recently started going through training for budget. We have outside sources coming in, teaching us the ins and outs of budgeting and just how to run a city. And taking up, there's multiple accounts, there's reserves, there's all kinds of things that have to be taken into account, which is completely blew my mind. I didn't think it was that complex. Budget is extremely complex, is what I'm learning. And I think the school district, from what I've heard and have started to see, has good plans in place and are getting some good people in place. There's always room for improvement. But I'm confident we'll get there. Does that answer your question?
So I have one more question for you then. Being on the city council, does that preclude you from holding both offices, or can you hold both at the same time?
Correct. So there is a law. It's the doctrine. I forgot the name of it, but yes, it does. So if I am elected to the school board, I will have a tough decision to make. Obviously, I'm running for school board. I was appointed for city council. So the voters did not vote me in to city council. So school board, the community will have to speak, and if they vote me in, I think the decision will be pretty simple for me, which would be to stay on school board.
Thank you.
I do not speak Spanish, but that's my dad's fault for not teaching me. But in his defense, when he got here in the 70s, there were no ELL programs, so we had to learn English really fast and try to assimilate. There weren't programs where we encouraged speaking Spanish and still keeping your culture. Anyways, that's beside the point. No, I don't speak Spanish, but I don't feel like that keeps me back or holds me back from making connections with the families in this district. I've already made connections with a lot of families and moms and dads that don't speak Spanish. There are a lot of things that we can do that surpass just language. Body language is a huge thing too, and parents know when you start talking to them when you're open, when you're free, or when you're defensive and guarded, right? And you can read that too. As far as finances go, I used to work here in the district for the migrant program, and so I worked closely with our migrant manager with my budget here at the high school when I worked at the high school, and so I understand the federal grants. And when I left here, I worked for a migrant program where I helped write the grant, and I helped run the budget at Heritage University, and so I have a strong understanding of federal grants, do's and don'ts, ins and outs. Which we get a lot of money for that, so I feel like that's a point for me. That's just me kind of joking and being a little loose here. Yeah, so I have a strong understanding of federal grants and budgets, ins and outs. And when I worked at Heritage University, we kept a live budget. So I'm not very good at Excel, but the gal that I was working with was a pro, and so you could go into our budget at any time and see live account where our money went, hover over the expense, and boop, there's the receipt for money spent, right? I believe in keeping live budgets. I believe in that 100%. So there was always that accountability about where the money's going, where the money went, and how we're planning to spend that money. So I hope that answers your question.
Thank you.
I believe there was 3 parts to your question, right? Accountability, bilingual, and
Budget, personnel, and planning.
budget, personnel, and planning. Well, budget. I'm regional manager for Wildland Firefighting Company. We employ about 120 firefighters just in the state of Washington. I am responsible for everything for them. So personnel, round the clock, year round. Okay, I'm never not running with personnel. I'm never not scheduling something for them. I understand their needs. I understand personnel's needs. I understand prioritizing those needs. Budget, I have a nice little budget that I am charged with every year. I've earned the boss's trust by spending their money like I spend my money. It's a multi-million-dollar company. I don't manage those multi-millions, but I do manage the part that pertains to 1/3 of the company. I am fluently bilingual, but what I don't know is probably more than what I do know about school budgets. It's a lot more than what I know. But from day one, when I got appointed, I came onto the school board and I asked in that first workshop that if we could have department leaders, building leaders come in and tell us, the board, educate us on what it is that they do. We have a finance director. Well, I'm not shy to go in and ask her about the budget, about how grants work, because I don't know what that is. And I don't think that anybody up here knows everything there is to know about budgets, personnel, and all that for a school district. I think we all need to learn it, and I think the only way that we're going to is by asking questions. Asking questions of those who know. Those of you who went to school and put in lots and lots of hours of college and spent a lot of money to get your degrees to get where you're at today. You guys are the ones who know all that stuff, and you guys can come teach us a little bit of it so that we can make more informed decisions for you.
I think we have time for about one more question. We've got about 8 minutes left.
Hi, my name is Olga, and I work for Saddle Mountain Elementary. And I have a question for all of you, well, most of you, because I paid attention to all your kids go to Mattawa, most of your kids go to Mattawa Elementary. Why Mattawa Elementary? If you guys say that you guys have the best trained, the best qualified, and we all have the best teachers, why did you guys select Mattawa Elementary? And why does Mattawa Elementary have more programs, more things that happen than the other schools? I, as a parent, would like to see that equal for the 3 buildings and not just have the best school, medium school, not so great school. When I remember I went to the board meeting when they were planning the reconfiguration back in, I don't remember what year it was, they said that was not going to be the case of having the best school, middle school, and low school, and that's exactly what's happening. So what are you guys going to do to change that?
Well, Olga, my kids go to Mattawa E. That wasn't my choice. I don't know. That's where they got stuck, I guess. My son has quite a few friends there, and so I think that was our decision more than anything. Was we want to be where we want our kids to attend a building that their friends are at. Would make sense. You've probably seen me in your building a lot. I've been in more shot a lot, offering my services, Mattawa Youth Sports, to all kids equally. I don't just choose kids from one school. I choose kids from every school. And I was on the K-5 Science Committee this spring and talking about ideas on sustainable science curriculum. And we had a lot of communication around the gardening program, which got a lot of negative heat from community members. But now it's turned out to be an awesome program for our SPED kids. And it's great to see those kids thriving in that area. And those SPED kids aren't just from Mattawa E, they're from all different buildings. And the focus was to put that garden center between all 3 schools so that all 3 schools could use it. When I planted the pumpkin patch this spring and summer, my focus was to get all kids an opportunity to get out the pumpkin patch. All kids were invited. I have emailed lots of times to all principals, hey, the pumpkins are getting big. There's vegetables that are growing out there. Get your kids out there. I'd like to see kids out taking advantage of that resource. There's opportunities for all the kids. I feel like we support all robotics in all buildings, and there's a lot of support. So I feel like the perception that Mattawa E is bigger, faster, and stronger, but I don't think that's the truth, so, or purposely.
My kids ended up at Mattawa E because Miss Davis at the time, now Miss Marlowe, she raised us. She raised myself, my brother, and my sister. And I was sending my first baby to school, scary as hell. And I wanted Miss Marlowe to be her teacher, his teacher at the time. That was a personal decision between mom and dad.
My son's also at Mattawa E, and the reason for that is because there was a dual language and program that was offered, and I felt like I wanted my son to learn both English and Spanish. I know that, you know, with now the generations coming up, it's kind of something that either gets lost because it's something that we just don't, you know, continue to. I know I'm at fault because I talk to my son a lot in English, but yet, however, he's getting that, you know, that was the reason why. And Emmy was the one who did go ahead and provided, and I'm kind of, you know, I wanted him to be with Amy Marlowe too, but she was a principal, so that was why, you know, reason why he's there. In reference to the questions about, you know, what putting kids, seeing the schools, I think that, and correct me if I'm wrong, principals, but I believe that they're working together to trying to combat that and kind of putting it all equal. Or am I completely wrong? No principal? Okay. But that's something that I will, if I get reelected, I will definitely keep out there and continue to have everybody the same opportunities.
First of all, I appreciate your passion in asking that question. I had no idea, though, that was going on. And even if it is just a perception, I don't know. But if elected, that is something that I would like to work at. I think that, you know, we heard Amy's name mentioned a lot, but I think that goes back to what I was saying about homegrown leaders. Like, she's a pillar of this community. She's a leader that has grown up here, right? And so, but if elected, I hope that's something that we could do to make sure that there's equality across the schools, making sure maybe there's one principal that's advocating more for different programs than another, but maybe if they were all on the same page, I don't know, but it's something worth discussing, and thank you for bringing that up.
My son does attend Mattawa E, and my son is in the special education program. So when he started to come to school at age 3, the resource room and the program was at Mattawa E, which is the reason why he's there. So he's continued to grow. Just because of his condition, he has friends that school has been welcoming. That's the reason he's there. He never had the opportunity to attend another building. But I also did not know that, I'm assuming that the staff feels that way. I mean, it's definitely a concern to me. What we can do at the moment, I don't have an answer for you. I honestly do not. I think there's 4 other people that would be on the board with me and a superintendent that we would have to sit down and have the discussion and to probably give you some kind of solution. Not just you, but everybody else.
Okay, thank you again, candidates. Clearly, when we do this, we're going to try to make this an annual event every election, perhaps some more time or limiting some time for the questions and comments so we can get more of your stuff answered. Just remember, I mean, don't hold these guys hostage or anything, but they are here to answer, you know, questions if they want to, and feel free to connect. I do want to just open it up for real quick. If we want to go reverse of how we started, just a quick 30-second statement, and then I'll say thank you if you go over. Just remind them of your name, which district, if you're a write-in candidate or on the ballot. So 30 seconds, starting with, I believe, Sam? Or,
Sorry. I can't count. Samantha Ruiz, District 4 at large. I really want to work as an advocate for our students, for our parents, for our teachers. I have a lot of friends that still work in the district. I want to be a voice for them, and I think that about sums it up. I want to be an advocate.
I guess all I can say is, I'll reiterate, I don't think there's anybody in this community that cares more, that loves this community and school district and the kids more, who's more passionate, who will work harder than I will. So I guess that's the reason you should vote for me.
Costa, candidate for position 3. There's definitely, if I get elected, there's definitely a lot of work ahead for me, a lot of learning. The school has a lot of programs, a lot going on. So there's definitely a lot of sleepless nights ahead of me, for me. Vote for me.
I'm running for position 2. I strongly feel breaking that disconnection between the community and the school board. I'd like to create a connection to where everybody here has a voice and everybody can speak what they want and what they desire. Vote for me, Trevor Waters. I'm a writing candidate. Thank you.
My name is Jesse Perez, and I guess everyone's already said it all. You know, we're all here to work for your kids, for our community. When I was in school, it was 4-year college or you failed. And I think now we've all come to the conclusion that you can be successful without a 4-year college. And we're definitely not discouraging that, but I want to help work the school district into, giving more opportunities, even if you don't go to a 4-year college. And I'm here to work for you and your kids. Vote for me.
Maybelline Pantaleone, running for district position number 1. Again, our kids are our future, so let's make them the best that we can. Vote for me.
Hans Gronke, position 1, write-in. I want to see trades. We can't teach these kids how to do math. Let's teach them how to weld. Let's teach them how to frame a wall. We should be building podiums next year. I want to see a podium for each candidate in our welding shop. I want to see bin trailers being made. I want to see hydraulics classes. How many? Position 1, Hans Gronke. Vote for me. Thank you.
Okay, again, thank you. If you went around and counted like I did, there's 88 of us here today. Hopefully next year we see maybe over 100. But thank you for the candidates. Thank you for everybody that came out. Thank you for our students that came up with this idea. And I teach about civic duty and civil involvement every day in my classes, and it's just refreshing. It's really refreshing to see that in the community that my wife and I have made at home.
If I could have your attention real quick, let's give it a round of applause for Emma, Karen, Daisy, and Joel for this amazing opportunity for everyone. Good job, ladies, and Mr. Dugan. So the ladies will have one of these cool little flyers on your way out. You can take one from them. You can access this little device here, and it'll have questions and answers that the board members or that the candidates have responded to. So go ahead and take one of these, check it out for later on, and go out and vote. Thank you, guys.
Miss.